Hey guys, welcome back to my page. Take a look at this amazing brisket I made the other day. It was my third attempt and I am no longer scared of trying to make brisket anymore. So I got this whole brisket from Costco, $50 for 12 pounds of prime grade brisket. Can't go wrong. Take a look at all that marbling on it. Definitely marbling that I didn't see in the choice grade that I cut the last time. Marbling reminds me of some short ribs. It was freaking awesome. I already knew I had something good coming. So that's the trimming that I've done. This time around, I made my own SPG. Pretty much my own dry rub. 5 different ingredients: salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, also smoked paprika. I didn't use anything as a binder. It's really just a little bit of water. But totally happy with the way the bark came out later on, and the dry rub itself was so tasty at the end. For the charcoal, I used Gels Devil XL size. So this is an image of the settings I use on my Fireboard Pro blower and temp monitor. Blower's on the bottom attached. I use some pecan wood and also some post oak on top of that charcoal. And that's my monitor. Take a look at that. Put a little gazebo umbrella over it so that it doesn't get overheated. At least helps with the easing of the keeping the temp consistent. So initially I realized that 3-4 hours into it, since I was out of the house taking care of errands, my vents was actually closed on top, and the smoke, that was blowing in was actually coming out of the doors, from part of the lid as well. But thankfully, I was still getting some bark and also some nice smoke action with the vents on top of the Weber Smoky Mountain still closed. So yeah, something to note. First few hours, it was closed, but it was still in operation. Look at that. So that bark at 178 degrees, looking real nice. Some pulling of some juice. That paper towel thing definitely helped out. But you'll see it later on, it still does continue to collect some pulling of juices. That looks so nice. Look at that point too. That point on the flat. So one thing to note is, it looks like there's a lot of smoke coming out, but it's really a lot of that juice that's dropping onto my steel fire dial, which is my heat deflector I'm using. So imagine if all that juice is just falling straight on top of the coal, and then all that steam action and everything. It definitely did help with the extra smoky flavor, or even just cooking a little faster. You also notice that right now it shows 185 degrees versus 195 degrees in the last segment. I changed up the location of where the temp probe is at because I noticed that some other areas were about 10-15 degrees lower, and I want to make sure that the majority of this brisket was going to be probe tender, ready. Didn't want to mess anything up. So although the initial area that I had put the probe into, it took about 8 hours for it to be like 195 degrees, this entire smoke session ended up being about 10 and a half hours because I wanted to make sure that other areas were done too. I also lowered the temperature to like about 250 degrees for the last 2 hours. Mm-mm-mm. That thing is so nice. Don't worry about all that pulling of the juices. At the end, it definitely didn't affect my results, and it still came out super tender and delicious. I love this. So easy to just probe and just, oh my god. You'll see how jiggly this thing comes out too later on. Alright, so I put it in the pan. I mean, this by itself, I could definitely eat it, but I wanted to make sure that this whole thing didn't go to waste. I mean, this thing was probably already done at, I don't know, 11:30 p.m. I wanted to make sure I share this with some other family members. So now I put it in the pan so that it's ready to go in the oven, keep warm. So I put some beef tallow, it's really just condensed, nice clean beef fat. Put it on top and the bottom. I double wrapped it with aluminum foil. This entire method is influenced by Goldie's barbecue in Texas. How they didn't wrap it until it was pretty much done. Also, the temp that I kept it at was 170 degrees, and I probably left it in the oven for about 15-16 hours. Keep in mind that even though you set it to 170, that temperature internally could spike to about 180-ish, maybe hours later on. So just keep it in mind. Be careful, you don't want to cook it. This thing was so jiggly, just that warming, or just keeping it warm in the oven, and also just, I don't know, everything just came together perfectly on this one. Was it maybe a little overcooked in some areas? Yeah, I think it was. But would I rather it be a little overcooked and, I don't know, soft versus undercooked and stiff and just firm? I prefer soft and just super tender. So that's my preference. Now, that beef tallow and that oven action, was breaking down all that fat, definitely helped, because you could tell with that slice, I didn't even need to wipe the beef tallow onto the side. It was just super juicy, just sparkly. I was so happy with the fact that I could do a nice thick slice and it would just fold, stay together on that one. Now, next couple slices I had, yes, some of them broke apart, but who the heck cares? I loved it. Mm, look at that. So you could tell that maybe the one edge of the point right there was a little more on the soft side, maybe mush side, I guess. Some of that's great for chopped brisket. Some of that'll be perfect for like mashed potatoes. Some people can enjoy, some areas of the brisket. And, at least for my side, everyone enjoyed it, so I was super happy. And this bark, that that dry rub that I personally made, put together. Oh my god, that thing was just perfect. Before you even bite into, yes, it was super soft. That bark just tasted so perfect. Perfect amount of salt, flavoring, pepper action, everything. Everything just came together. If I could share some of these pieces with y'all virtually, I would. Mm. That is so nice. This came out so much better than the last one that I made. I just love how jiggly this brisket was. Look at that. That thing just melts in your mouth. It looks so tasty.
Mm.
Which part do you guys like? You guys like the flat? You guys like the point? You guys like it extra firm? You guys like it on the softer side? Mm. Look at that. And the fat was so sweet. The fat was rendered. It was just perfect. Also, I was happy that I didn't even need to trim off that much fat in the beginning and waste so much of it. I'm going to have to go back to that Costco location and get at least 2 more of these briskets before they might be bye-bye. Look at that. Mm. Definitely want to make some brisket sandwiches. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Definitely going to be making brisket probably with my Primo and some other grills down the road too. But definitely more coming soon. I'm just happy that I got over the fear of making briskets. Now I feel comfortable. Can't wait to make more. See you guys.